Welcome to another installment of Deconstructing Babylon, where we discern the signs and symbols of the mystery religion of Hollywood Babylon. I'm the Discerning Clerk, and I use a biblical framework to deconstruct my favorite movies and your recommendations. In a sincere effort for transparency and authenticity, I wanted to share a bit of my spiritual journey and current beliefs. I know what I'm about to say could further alienate me from a future potential audience, but please understand that my goal is only to please my Heavenly Father and not man. The meaning of the word holy is set apart, and my pursuit of holiness is of utmost importance. I grew up in a Christian home, the daughter of a former Catholic and lukewarm Baptist. We went to church, prayed before meals, and acted out a false piety because of the title we adopted for ourselves, Christian. I never saw my parents read the Bible, pray in earnest, or be transformed by their faith when trials came. When I was eventually immersed in the waters of baptism at the age of 22, a mere 6 months before I married my husband, I didn't fully understand my faith or know what being baptized meant, but I knew that following Jesus was the way. Yet the same false piety followed me into my marriage and motherhood. In 2020, when the world shut down, so did churches. I had called myself a baptized believer for 16 years now, but I was suddenly rootless, and my faith seemed pointless. This is when Yahuwah began to remove the scales from my eyes, and I started questioning everything. I went down every rabbit hole, researched every conspiracy theory, and my beliefs about the world were quickly changing. It was a destabilizing time as my discernment muscle was working overtime. What was true? What does being a Christian look like? How is it any different from the world around me? Is it actually set apart? Long story shortened, I no longer identify as a Christian because I no longer agree with the main tenets of their religion. I began obeying the commands of the Most High, observing his set-apart feast days, and eating biblically clean. I read my Bible from the beginning and allowed the Spirit of the living God to teach me and convict me of my transgression of the law. I do not identify with any man-made religion or church denomination. Instead, I say I am a follower of the way, a humble disciple or student of the Messiah. I love him and keep his commands, to wash my robes and keep my lamp filled with oil to prepare for the coming of the bridegroom, that I may be ushered into the wedding supper of the Lamb. I hope you're still with me after all that. But more than that, I pray the Father removes the scales from your eyes, that his Spirit convicts you of your sin, that you may be washed clean and immersed in the water of his word, should he see fit to do so. Okay, now the reason we're all here. You already know, today we're breaking down the law student coming-of-age comedy Legally Blonde.
One of the reasons I wanted to come here tonight was to discuss our future.
Of course.
I plan on running for office someday.
Warner.
I think we should break up.
What?
L. If I'm gonna be a senator, I need someone serious.
I'm seriously in love with you.
I love you.
Liar! This is the type of girl that Warner wants to marry. A law student. Going to Harvard is the only way I'm gonna get the love of my life back. For my admissions essay, I'm gonna tell all of you why I'm gonna make an amazing lawyer. I feel comfortable using legal jargon in everyday life. I object.
Her list of extracurricular activities is impressive.
She was in a Ricky Martin video.
Aren't we always looking for diversity?
Welcome to Harvard.
Don't be scared. Everyone will love you.
L? I'm sorry, are you here to see me?
I go here.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
I got a PhD from Berkeley.
MBA from Wharton. I've been deworming orphans in Somalia.
2 weeks ago, I saw Cameron Diaz at Fred Siegel, and I talked her out of buying this truly heinous Angora sweater.
Malibu Barbie lives.
I've come to join your study group.
Our group is full.
Oh, is this like an RSVP thing?
No, it's like a smart people thing. I give it 2 more weeks.
What is this?
We're betting to see how much longer you're gonna last.
You're not smart enough, sweetie.
I'll show you how valuable Elle Woods can be.
MGM Pictures presents.
Do you have a resume? It's pink.
And it's scented. I think it gives it a little something extra.
A comedy about knowing who you are.
Do you think she just woke up one morning and said, I think I'll go to law school today?
And showing what you've got.
We're defending Brooke Window. You can buy her exercise tips on infomercials.
Wait! Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands.
You're fired.
What?
I I have new representation.
Reese Witherspoon,
Do you remember when we spent those 4 amazing hours in the hot tub after winter formal? This is so much better than that.
Legally Blonde.
Oh, look how cute. There's like a judge and everything. Vote for Elle.
So many movies from the past don't age well, but this one gave us the most memorable, lovable character in cinematic history. It spawned 2 sequels, a remake, and a Broadway musical. It was released in 2001 and only rates an average IMDb user review of 6.5 out of 10. Maybe not as widely loved as I thought. Iconic, quotable, and fashionable though it may be, its success indicates symbolism is present. So let's see what they show us in Legally Blonde. The movie opens right away with an upbeat song, pink girly font, and long blonde locks being brushed. The hair belongs to our main blonde, Elle Woods. As she gets herself ready for the day, a card with her name on it is passed around to all her sorority sisters. Elle is the president of the fictional sorority Delta Nu. And of course, no secret society is complete without a black and white checkerboard floor. Her card is delivered under her door, and a small Chihuahua dog, Bruiser, picks it up and brings it to her.
Oh, good luck tonight, Elle and Warner forever.
Elle and her friends, Margot and Serena, believe tonight is the night that Elle will be proposed to by her longtime boyfriend, Warner Huntington III.
Girls, this is it. In a few hours, I'll be the future Mrs. Warner Huntington III.
We get some mirror symbolism with the squealing trio until we get to meet Warner when he arrives to pick up Elle for their date.
One of the reasons I wanted to come here tonight was to discuss our future.
And I am fully amenable to that discussion.
But instead of proposing marriage, Warner breaks up with Elle, completely blindsiding her and breaking her heart. In his explanation, he compares himself to JFK in need of a Jackie, not a Marilyn.
So you're breaking up with me because I'm too blonde?
The references to the past president and his questionable relationship partners are very symbolic. From MK Ultra programming to political assassinations, it's all cloaked in conspiracy. Right now, the two are in university together in California, but Warner is continuing his education across the country at Harvard Law School.
Well, East Coast people are different.
After wallowing in her misery for a while, Elle vows to become a serious law student to win Warner's affections back.
Law school's for people who are boring and ugly and serious. And you, Button, are none of those things.
Elle truly has her sights set on going to Harvard. To study law, yes, but mostly to win a husband. What's the BYU slogan? A ring by spring? We get a fun montage of Elle's video essay for admittance as she genuinely studies to pass the required exam. More checkerboards as she takes a practice LSAT while her little dog watches on. I mention it every time there's a dog in a movie, and I will continue to say it. A dog means God using the occultic law of reversal. The dog here is small, like an accessory or canine extension of Elle. There's no doubt she loves Bruiser and cares for him. But it reminds me of how many in the church today treat the Most High. They may genuinely love God, but treat him like an accessory in their lives instead of the focal point. Anyway, Elle's hard work pays off, and she's admitted to Harvard Law School. She packs up her life and moves across the country. And her little dog, too.
Oh, Bruiser, it's so exciting! Look! Harvard!
In a sea of browns and greens, Elle ostentatiously sticks out in her bright pink and convertible. Yet, it's not just how she looks that is so opposite to the other students. Her upbeat, positive personality also grates against the others, so they mock her openly and look down on her.
Whoever said orange was the new pink was seriously disturbed.
Soon, Elle spies out the reason for her being there, much to Warner's surprise.
I'm sorry, are you here to see me?
It is kind of giving stalker. Anyway, she did make it look easy. She's not dumb by any means, but she didn't really show interest in law before this. Of course, I can't help but think about the recent-ish scandal regarding Ivy League admissions being purchased by rich and famous parents of prospective students. Elle's parents would certainly fit that stereotype. Not saying, just saying.
You will be taught to achieve insight into the world around you and to sharply question what you know.
Elle enters her first class and we meet the tough as nails Professor Stromwell. We also meet the serious Jackie type, Vivian Kensington, who we will soon learn wears the engagement ring Elle was expecting to get from Warner. Finally, Elle meets someone friendly, Emmett, who doesn't judge Elle based on her appearance and actually gives her some good advice for surviving her classes.
Wow. I'm really glad I met you.
One step forward and two steps back when Elle sees Warner and Vivian together. In her hysteria, she drives to find a manicurist, which she does at a place called Neptune's. The Roman god of planetary repute is also known as Poseidon in Greek theology. He is lord over freshwater seas and the underworld. Or perhaps the waters under the earth? This is where we meet the fabulous, if a bit beaten down by life, Paulette Bonafante. They immediately trauma bond over their relationship tragedies and also their dog mom status. Paulette has an English bulldog named Rufus, who is currently in the care of her ex.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Happens every day.
Elle sets out to steal Warner back from Vivian, but none of her tactics work, and she gets discouraged. Until by some miracle, Vivian invites her to a party, telling Elle it's a costume party in order to embarrass her again.
Thanks for inviting me, girls. This party is super fun.
She's dressed like a Playboy bunny, which really just plays into the misogyny we've seen to this point.
Hey, Warner.
Wow. Well, don't you look like a walking felony?
Thank you. You're so sweet.
But the Playboy symbolism runs a bit deeper than simple sexism and objectification. It points to founder and ultimate Playboy, Hugh Hefner. His double initials are the point, H being the 8th letter in the English alphabet, so 88. And what do we know about 88? Sun and moon symbolism. Or time travel. Finally, Elle snaps out of her infatuation and decides to use the opportunity at Harvard not to win a man, but earn a degree. Something I've noticed in the color symbolism. When it comes to Elle herself, she's always wearing pink or blue, and it's also present in the set decoration of her personal spaces. This is different than red and blue or orange and blue, which points to more sun and moon symbolism. Rather, pink and blue point to gender identity or trans-identifying individuals. Think of the pink and blue triangle on the pride flag. Even Paulette wears pink and blue when she confronts her ex to get her dog back.
I'm taking the dog.
Elle's other featured mentor, Professor Callahan, is also a practicing lawyer with his own firm. Emmett, the friendly guy with good advice, sits in his class to observe the first-year law students. Callahan happens to offer a coveted internship at his firm for exemplary litigators, and he encourages Elle to apply for it.
I think she's got a lot of potential.
Christmas comes around, and instead of flying back to LA to spend the holiday with her friends and family, she stays in Boston and celebrates with Paulette. We jump ahead to springtime, and the school is abuzz with excitement to work a real high-profile case on Callahan's team. Of course, our main girl is chosen, along with Warner and Vivian. For the serious work, Elle ditches her signature pink and blue for dual black and white.
You look very nice today, Vivian.
The case in question involves a young widow accused of killing her much older husband. Callahan's group is defending the widow, Brooke Taylor Wyndham, who is a Delta Nu alumnus, and Elle is familiar with the older sister.
She's completely gifted.
Well, in all likelihood, she's completely guilty as well.
Why defend a case when you believe your client is guilty, especially when they assert their own innocence?
Happy people just don't shoot their husbands. They just don't.
Elle truly believes in Brooke's innocence and gets her alibi to confirm her beliefs. But she also honors Brooke's request not to use her alibi in her defense.
We're gonna lose this case if you don't.
Well, then we're not very good lawyers.
In the introduction, I called this a coming-of-age story, and we see that happening more and more. Elle has never been unkind or even dumb, maybe a bit naive or toxically positive, but as she matures in her thinking, she begins to see her value is in more than just her looks. Even Vivian starts to come around.
And I thought that was very classy of you.
But now we come to trial, and who knows what defense Callahan is going to put up. Perhaps just reasonable doubt, or lack of evidence. The main witness is the victim's daughter, Chutney, who can't be much younger than her stepmother, Brooke. They also question the ex-wife, Chutney's mother, and the Latin cabana boy.
And are you or are you not having an affair with Brooke Wyndham?
The prosecution doesn't have to prove motive, but they do need to prove intent, which they suggest is Brooke being caught having an affair, until Elle is convinced the alleged affair partner is actually a homosexual. I can't help but notice his bedazzled shirt has a Virgin Mary on the back. Now, we know this iconography isn't really the mother of Messiah, but the venerated saint who actually represents Diana, or Artemis, and Semiramis, the mother of Tammuz.
And your boyfriend's name is Chuck, right?
A win in court leads to a loss in the boardroom, when Callahan reveals his true chauvinistic nature. Elle rejects his advances and loses hope in her future. It's enough to discourage Elle and all her progress. She tells Emmett, and then Paulette, that she's quitting the firm, leaving Harvard, and going back to LA.
No one's ever going to take me seriously.
Professor Stromwell overhears all her lament and builds Elle back up to return to her case and her client, Brooke.
You're fired. I have new representation.
With Emmett's assistance, Elle steps in to finish what Callahan started. And it doesn't take long in her cross-examination of Chutney to come to the truth and reveal the real killer.
I didn't mean to shoot him. I thought it was you walking through the door.
Elle is triumphant and victorious, and even wins Warner's affections in the end, which she now rejects. Cut to 2 years later, and Elle's graduation day. She gives a brief, uplifting speech to her class, and we get some satisfying updates from some of the main players. The final image is Elle's smiling face. As much as I thought this movie aged well, after viewing it this time around, I found it misogynistic and not nearly as female empowering as I originally thought. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a feminist by any means. I believe women have a God-given authority and role in families and in society. The gatekeepers of the home, the protectors and nurturers of children, truly mothers of all creation. But Elle feels like an anti-feminist. She knows her power and value are in how she looks and in how she uses her body. She said she's been discriminated against as a blonde, and we saw a lot of that with the other Harvard students. She says no one will ever take her seriously, yet who does? Paulette, Professor Stromwell, and Brooke. 3 successful blondes. I would suggest that sororities, fraternities, and Ivy League schools are all roots of secret societies. They need to be initiated in. They have a secret code of conduct, and the use of Greek letters points directly to how Hellenized the Western world actually has become. They showed us plenty of duality, including black and white checkerboards, black and white clothing. Even the characters showed duality. Elle and Vivian, Emmett and Paulette, Professors Stromwell and Callahan. The movie was also bi-coastal in location, another dual reference, and even opened and closed with the same song. I was not really expecting the amount of trans colors we saw around Elle. I don't think they are implying she is a trans woman, but maybe pointing to her goal to succeed as a woman in a man's world. Though, I happen to have another theory, and that has to do with Elle's name. As I pointed out in other films, anytime a character has EL in their name, I tend to think this is a reference to the Hebrew word for God. And I've usually assumed it's the Most High God. But this is Hollywood we're talking about. They don't worship the Most High. Elle's name is literally God, mirrored, or rather, inverted. E-L-L-E. She is the representation of God here. And while the Bible expressly states that God is a he, a father, male in nature, the world, and even progressives in the church, like to say that God is a woman, or both male and female, or neither male and female. And I think that's what they're saying with Elle Woods. Finally, I need to speak about the law and lawyers. In the Bible, the law of Yahuwah came to Moses, and the sons of Aaron were the keepers and experts of the law. They were meant to teach the people the law, understand the consequences of breaking the law. The priests kept order in the tabernacle and then the temple, and they were responsible for making sacrifices on behalf of the people. In the mystery religion and in the modern world, lawyers are the keepers and experts of the law. They represent people who break the law and find loopholes and exceptions in the law in order to defend the people. Elle seems to innately know the law. She learns specific language and does what she's taught, but she carries it out in her own way. Of course, she didn't write the laws. She's not the Most High. But she understands mercy and how the law is meant to be applied mercifully. She doesn't follow the letter of the law, she follows the heart of the law. And that's how all of us who have God's Spirit and the law written on our hearts ought to act. So that's enough for today. Thank you for enduring to the end. Give the video a thumbs up if you agree and a thumbs down if you disagree. Remember, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this, but don't follow me. Follow the one who saves you. And until next time, keep looking up.
Do you understand what subject matter jurisdiction is?
No.
I didn't think so.